Bernie Sanders wants monthly checks in the reconciliation bill, and he slammed the bill for simply not doing enough for struggling Americans. I have all the details and what you need to know right here in the video, so let's get right into it. All right, as we all know, the Senate is currently working on the finishing touches of the next reconciliation bill called the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022. In fact, the Senate was up all night working their way through the vote-a-rama process, and there's likely going to be some final votes coming on the bill today, so I'll keep you posted on that as well. However, Bernie Sanders took to the Senate floor and shredded this bill in front of all of his colleagues, simply saying that it does not do enough and it does not go far enough for a vast majority of the struggling Americans right now. So that's exactly what I want to talk about right here in the video, because he broke it all down and basically said that this bill is not doing nearly enough for the American people. So let's get into it and talk about all those details and what Bernie Sanders wants in this bill. However, really quickly before we do, thank you so much for joining me. If you're new here or if you haven't done so yet, please make sure to subscribe by hitting the button right down below the video so I can keep you updated each and every day with all of these big announcements, as all this information continues to change very, very rapidly right now. So again, thanks so much for joining me. Please make sure to subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet, and I'll continue to be here for you every single day with all these updates and to help you out in any way that I possibly can. All right, thanks again. Let's get into it and talk about what Bernie Sanders said from the Senate floor and what he wants in this reconciliation bill. First off, kind of surprising, which by the way, remember, Bernie Sanders is not a Democrat. He is an independent. However, the vast majority of the time, he does vote with Democrats. So just remember that as well. However, he took to the Senate floor and slammed this bill, shredded it up right in front of the face of all of his colleagues, saying that this is not going to even do anything to inflation, which is actually interesting because that's exactly the report that I brought you just a few days ago. A new independent report on this bill was actually showing that this bill is actually not going to do anything to inflation. So Bernie Sanders ripped that apart, saying it's not even going to do anything to inflation. He went on to show about all of these other things that this bill does not include. In fact, he was talking about Medicare, and he's pleased that this is actually going to allow them to start negotiating out prescription prices with pharmaceutical companies. However, here's the problem. It actually doesn't go into effect until 2026, 4 years from now, until it actually goes into effect. And when it does, it only encompasses 10 prescription items. That's it, 10. Do you realize how many prescriptions there are out there? Thousands. Yeah, so 10. That's all it's going to really impact. I mean, seriously, that's all it's really going to do? Is that really going to help out the vast majority of people right now? Probably not really. Well, Bernie Sanders was not too pleased about that. He also mentioned talking about how this bill does not extend the monthly checks in the form that they did last year as a result of the child tax credit payments. He wants those in there as well to help avoid childhood poverty, which again, there's about like 36 to 38 million families that got these checks last year in 2021 through the second half of 2021, and he wants those reinstated, but again, pointed out that yes, yet again, they are not adding these into the bill, monthly checks as well. He also went on to talk about affordable housing. There's nothing in here for affordable housing. There's a lot of people out there right now that are struggling to afford their housing, and there's a variety of other things out there. And again, Bernie Sanders pointed this out, doesn't do anything for affordable housing. So kind of interesting how Bernie Sanders wants all of these changes. Now, according to what I was seeing, he was actually filing 3 separate amendments into this bill, one of which was to actually extend or expand Medicare to lower the eligibility age from 65 down to 60, and then also include hearing, dental, and vision coverages in there. So that was one of the amendments he was going to be filing. Like I said, he's going to be filing 3 amendments on this bill. So realistically, according to what I was reading about this, basically what was going around the Democratic Party, and again, Not taking sides here. I'm not taking political sides in any way, shape, or form here. I'm simply saying Democrats because they are the ones strictly working on this bill. It is a completely partisan bill, and that's what the whole reconciliation process does, is it allows them to pass it through without bipartisan support. So that's why I'm saying Democrats, not because I'm going with them or against them. I'm just simply saying it's just how the fact of the matter right now. It is a Democratic bill only, right? That's the whole deal with the reconciliation process. But anyway, the circling notes around the Democratic Party was don't vote for it. Don't vote for or don't support any of these amendments, and don't file any amendments, the Democrats, just to speed up this process. So Basically, they're saying that they're just going to deny all of these amendments out there just so that they can get through the process more quickly and get this bill actually passed as quickly as possible. Which, by the way, those final votes are coming today. And who knows? Maybe they're doing it right now as we speak. I mean, I should pull it up and listen in on them, see what they're doing right now, right? I mean, yesterday, I made that video, and literally right as I was done uploading the video, all of a sudden, breaking news, they held the votes and they passed the procedural vote. So anyway, who knows? Maybe they're voting on it literally right now as I speak and as I make this video for you. But the fact of the matter is, we still want to know what's going on here. So, of course, I'll continue to watch this very closely. But as we currently stand right now, it looks like overnight, I just have to say this much. I'm glad I wasn't there. You know what I mean? They were up all night working their way through the vote-a-rama process, and it sounded like it went even early into this morning. So even at about 7 a.m. this morning, according to what I was finding, it looks like they were still going at it. So pretty funny, right? That's them, right? At least they lost the sleep and we didn't. So, but anyway, this is what's going on out there right now. And again, I'll continue to watch this very closely, but Bernie Sanders is not loving this bill at all. One more thing that I want to throw out there really quickly, just to put this into context. Bernie Sanders was also the one who originally introduced the $6.1 trillion package about a year ago. Do you remember that one? Originally, the Build Back Better agenda that was actually brought up back in about April of last year, 2021, he actually introduced it as $6.1 trillion. And then it was whittled down to about $3.5 trillion, and then it was cut in half again down to $1.75 trillion before the House of Representatives finally passed it in November of last year at $2.2 trillion. And then ultimately, Joe Manchin came in and knocked the whole thing down about a week or so before Christmas last year. He came in and said, nope, we're not doing it. And as of right now, this new bill that they're currently working on right now is $433 billion. So to put it all into context, we went from 6.1 trillion to 3.5 trillion to 1.75 trillion to 2.2 trillion, and now we're at 433 billion. Still a ton of money. I mean, seriously, it's an unbelievable amount of money. When we start working with billions and trillions, it's almost like we're desensitized to it because it's such a big number. In fact, funny little story. My wife and I were talking about it yesterday. Many of you here in the community know Corey. So we were talking about it, and she's like, oh yeah, are you talking about the $433 million bill? And I said, no, correction, billion. I said, the government doesn't work with millions anymore. They're far beyond that. They only work with billions and trillions. I was like, that's the magnitude behind these bills these days. They don't even look at millions anymore. Seriously. Many of us think like, wow, $1 million, that's a lot of money, right? It is a lot of money. But the fact of the matter is, the government doesn't even play around with little numbers like millions anymore. $100 million? Who cares? They don't even care about $100 million. They could care less about $100 million. They don't even care about $500 million. $900 million? They couldn't care less. $1 billion, they barely even look at $1 billion these days. They don't even care. They throw $1 billion around like it's a quarter. You know what I mean? I mean, seriously, they do not care about this stuff. That is what they are doing with all of our taxpayer dollars. It's a fact of the matter. This is not me taking political sides. This is the fact of the matter. This is what's going on right now. The numbers keep getting bigger and bigger. And as of early 2020, when we dipped into the trillions, we're never looking back. Just being real with you. Trillions are kind of the new game that we're playing now, right? So that's what they're dealing with. Anyway, hope this video gives you an update on what's going on right now, what Bernie Sanders is doing about this thing. And again, Bernie Sanders is probably the most opposed to this bill. Yes, he's still probably going to support it, but at the end of the day, he's not very happy with this thing. So anyway, I've said it before, and I'm going to say it one more time. You got to keep an eye on Bernie Sanders. Whether you like him or you don't like him, you got to watch him very closely. He's somebody of high influence. When he comes out, he makes waves, right? He's the guy that rocks the boat. You know what I mean? He rattles the cage of everybody. So you got to watch Bernie Sanders regardless of where you stand with him. You got to keep an eye on the guy. I've said it so many times over the last couple of years, and I will continue to say that because when he says something, a lot of people listen. So anyway, hope you're doing well. I hope you enjoyed this update. As I do get more details throughout the day today, of course, I'll be right here for you, breaking it all down, letting you know what's going on and how it's going to impact all of us. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. Share the video with your friends, family, social media. And as always, go back and check out some of the other thousands and thousands of videos here on the channel. If you go back and check out some of the other videos here on the channel and you land on the right ones, I'll give you a little hint. There's a few of them here from the last, week or so. If you land on the right ones, leave a comment down below on those videos And again, I'm sending out some pretty cool stuff here on the channel to those of you here in the community. So again, thanks so much for joining me. Enjoy your day. I'll catch you again later in the next video.